Welcome to another Spartan eRacing video. We are with the Lions today. They are racing the LMP2 in the 6 hours of Sebring in the GEC. They qualified P3, so they're on the right hand side on your screen but left hand side on the track, and it is go go go. So initially it looks like we get a really good start, but then P1 had a bit of a bump and slowed down, and that allowed P2 to come down the inside and push us back down into P3. So P3 at the moment, as you can see, fighting with a couple of guys behind us, and surprisingly the GT3s were really close. If you watch the start of the replay again, you'll see that the guys in the GT3s were absolutely pushing before the LMP2s went go go go. So they were obviously judging when they thought the green flag would go. Not many issues, which is a big surprise as well. I mean, multi-class racing, you can see some smoke from a couple of the GTPs who had an issue. We will go through all the accidents that happened in the race. There are quite a few, so I've picked a couple of the highlight ones which potentially could be avoidable, but because this is multi-class racing, aren't really avoidable. You can see at this point we're sticking with P1 and P2, so P1 is the guy who qualified P2, but he is starting to pull away. And it's quite weird because he's already 1.5 or 1.3 seconds ahead of us, and he is pulling away from the guy who qualified P1, who's now P2. And that means that as P2 and P3, we're dropping off from his slipstream. If we're out of the slipstream, it means that he can potentially pull away, and if the guy in front of us is slowing us down, then it's leaving us in sort of the clutches of the pack behind us. We are driving fairly close to the limit because we have cold tires for the first lap. It can be quite sketchy and can also feel like the car's going to just slide out at any point. But you can see now, coming up to the start-finish line, we're nearly 2 seconds behind the leader after a single lap. So P2 and P3 were far back from where we should be, and that's not the best place to start. So what we now need to do is we need to push to get past the guy in front of us, Christian, and just see if we can start heading after Maximilian, because losing a big gap at the start of the race, that gap's likely to just increase, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to give him an extra pit stop in hand where he can just stop when he needs to and what have you. So now we're down the outside. Not sure if this is going to stick, but down the outside, P4 decides to try follow us. P2 decides, you know what, he's not going to fight it, we are faster than him, so let's us go. And that's the opening lap and a half of how we started this race. So welcome to the race, and welcome to another Spartan eRacing event. We do love the endurance events, so stick with us. And back to the action. So now we still P2. We've been pushing, but you can see the guy in the orange and blue car behind us. They seem to be really fast. So they were, I think they were like P6 or P7 after quali, so maybe they messed up their quali lap and got a tire out in the dirt or something. But we think, you know what, let's stick in a slipstream, let him pass, stick with him if we can. And then this guy in the purple and, I don't know, greenish blue, I don't know what color that is, I'm really bad with color names, but the guy in the purple and blue car behind us, he's in the slipstream and he's sticking with us as well, so he's definitely pushing us along, giving us a little bit of the hurry up. which is always nice. I mean, when you're running together in a group like this, the racing is very intense. Your heart rate's running at, I don't know, 120 beats per minute, or maybe even higher, depending on how much you feel the intensity. But you do find that when you have a bit of a gap behind, a bit of a gap in front, you settle down and your heart rate starts to drop. But definitely running like this, where you bumper to bumper almost, is very intense running, because any one of you could make a mistake and take each other off. So the key thing you're trying to do at this point is not take each other off. We're in P3, fighting for a podium. It's 6 hours, so we do have a ton of time to go, and it's not worth destroying each other's races. It's just not worth it at all. So we managed to hold up the guy behind us. We managed to stay in P3, and a couple of laps later you can see now we're beginning to enter traffic. So that's the sort of slowest GT3 that we're coming up to, and this is where the fun starts. So you can see the GT3, he doesn't block us, he takes his line correctly, but then we sort of stick behind him and try and play safe. And then he goes all the way to the outside. So we've got a really slow run on this corner exit. You can see down the straight, the guys next to us have actually pulled ahead of us at this point. And you think, okay, we're down to P4, it is what it is. But Rich did a fantastic job, stuck it to the outside, didn't give him too much room for him to drift across to the outside. Managed to get a better drive down the start-finish straight, and we're now on the inside of T1. And T1, if you're on the inside, it's a much nicer corner to take. Yes, if you can get the big sweep around, it does help, but you can see he brakes a lot, the guy behind us. And actually what happened there is the guy behind us almost gave up position to the guy behind him because he was fighting with us. So a bit more through the traffic, you can see it starts to get really chaotic. And you can gain a place and you can lose a place so easily. It's not just sort of tenths of a second you can lose in traffic, it could be seconds. And in that time you think, hey, I'm 2 seconds ahead of the guy behind me. Next thing you know, you're in a little bit of traffic and he's right alongside you. And you have to try and figure out, okay, do I try and dive down the inside of a car and they maybe not see me and wreck both of our races, or do I just hold it steady and wait? So hold it steady and wait through, that's how Rich drives, which is fantastic. I try and hold it steady and wait as well if I've got traffic to either be passed by or to pass. My aim with traffic is to think about, if I'm the slower car, I stay on the race line. If their nose of the faster car is ahead of me before we hit the braking zone, 100% I will slow right down and give the corner to them. If my sort of front half of my car is ahead of their nose, then I sort of see it that they're giving me the corner. If they pass me on the straight, I'll stick to the race line and just let them go. If we're coming out of the corner, and quite a few come out of the corner and sort of pass on the way out of the corner, I do try and sort of stay to the inside, unless I'm watching in my rearview mirror and see that they're going to stay to the inside, then I just take the race line. But I try and sort of stick to the other side of the track that they are. It is very difficult with multi-class racing because sometimes if somebody has a single screen, say they've only got like a 24 or 27 inch monitor, the field of view that you have, you can't see to the sides. I have a triple screen, so when I'm racing multi-class I can see to the sides. I can see out both of my side windows, and that means I can see, is there a car next to me, is his nose there, is it not there, or whatever. That helps. But you can see here traffic helped the guy next to us in the white, blue and yellow LMP2, but Rich did the same again, hung it around the outside, kept his foot down, did the braking he needed to, pulled back the time and the distance that the blue, white and yellow guy had on us, so Ryan behind us. So Rich is really good. I think he's practiced that line a lot, and I think when you're in the foster car it's a line you definitely need to know, because when you're passing traffic, if they're going to stick to the racing line, which is sort of go from the outside, swing into the inside and swing back out again, you need to be able to drive around the outside of that to stay out of their sort of impact zone should there be an issue. So at this pace we're sticking quite nicely in P3. The traffic we've caught more traffic, and now this is when the GTPs catch us. So the GTPs are a faster class of car, and they look very similar to the LMP 2, but they are definitely faster, and they have slightly lower profile, bigger lights and so on. And there's also more variations. I think there's the Caddy, there's the Porker, there's a whole bunch of different variations for the GTPs. But at this point, we're now catching traffic, and I think one of the worst things with traffic, especially on a long race like this, you're catching the GT3 cars because you're faster than them, but also you're getting caught by the GTPs. And if you're coming into a sequence of corners, you've got a GTP trying to overtake you while you're trying to overtake a GT3. The GT3 might not see both of you. They might only see one of you. So Richard finishes a stint into the pits. Fantastic stint, kept us there in P3. Now, a couple of the other guys pitted early, and I think they might have taken less fuel, because you'll see when we're coming out of the pits here, you can see all the damaged cars and the pits trying to get repaired. But when we're coming out of the pits, you can see on the very right hand side of your screen that blue and purple car. So whilst we were in traffic, whilst we were having to fight through the traffic, and we had gained quite a lot of time on them, I think we were like 4 seconds ahead of them before they pitted, but then we went through tons of traffic, and that traffic cost us that position for P4. So we've lost P3, we're down into P4, but you know what? It's 6 hours. Keep our foot in, keep our mind on the game, and so on. I'm not going to focus too much on our race now. I'm going to move across to some of the incidents and replays of those incidents from the other teams that happened through the 6 hours, because some of them are potentially avoidable. Some of them are quite funny because it's sort of people just spinning on their own, missing brake points, flying into corners and suddenly going, oh yeah, I know my brake pedal was somewhere, just forgot to try and find it before I actually went into the apex. And you can see at the moment we're running fairly on our own. We've got no traffic directly in front of us. We've got a bit of a gap. I think we've got like 4 seconds behind us. So these are the times where you just put your head down, you put in your laps like you've done in practice, and just push, push, push. Now we're going to head over and watch the GTP start. So the purple guy is in first place, and I'm focused on a car middle of the pack, so you can sort of see how their start went. But their start was pretty good. I was actually impressed. There were no big pileups in any of those classes when they started, which is not often the case. I've been in quite a lot of races where at the start a quarter of the field lands up having to be towed to the pits, and people swearing at each other and all sorts on the driver chat. But you can see there when the when the LMP2s are coming across the line, the GT3s are right in amongst the LMP2s. So the GT3s got a really good run before the green flag went, which I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does actually ping that over to iRacing and say, hey, this needs to be looked at, because part of the racing regulation means you shouldn't preempt the green flag, and you shouldn't be doing a big run like that, because potentially, say the green flag was 5 seconds later than he thought it might be, there would be a massive pile-up, and they would destroy half of the people's races. But yeah, so GTP started pretty well. There have been a couple of incidents, and you can see for the next sort of 5-6 minutes we're going to focus on different incidents that happen, and just as we see one, pull it up and have a look through it. But lots and lots of side-by-side racing, which is always good to see as well. The sort of level of driver is really good when you're able to do side-by-side through multiple corners. Side-by-side through a single corner, when somebody's overtaking you, that's sort of the norm. But when you're doing side-by-side and you've gone side-by-side for 4 or 5 corners, that's really courteous racing, giving each other enough space and making sure that you both get through okay and you're unscathed and so on. That just allows you to race another day. But you can see here, so initially when I saw this, I thought the guy on the inside, so the closer to us, the one with the pink and blue that we're looking at, not the one with the pink, blue and black, but this one in front of us, I thought initially it was his fault, but he turned in and the guy behind absolutely centered. I think maybe they had a different braking point. So you can see what happens when somebody accidentally misses their brake point. And similar over here, just traveling way too close to the car in front, going into a corner, lose a little bit of downforce, get a bit of a slide, and there the Ferrari just trying to make way, you know, got a car on the left, got a car on the right, what do? I'm in the middle, get scared, try and miss the one that's on the right hand side, touch the one on the left hand side, and then for good measure they tap each other anyway. So very, very hard close racing with these guys, which is nice to see, the hard close racing, but not if you're a GT3 getting involved in somebody else's race and they're using you as a way to sort of get past the guys they're racing and sending it down both sides. This is a bit of a weird accident. I think he just maybe outbroke himself slightly and then got on the accelerator a little hard, and the GTP didn't see that he was going to spin, and the GTP is right behind him. I mean, I feel for the GTP in that one. There's nothing he can do. He's right behind the guy, so he gives him a bit of a love tap, which sadly sends the Audi into the wall. A little bit of love taps going on there as well, leaning hard on each other, not giving each other enough space. But this blue and yellow car lands up in quite a lot of our clips, and I don't know if it was the driver that was having issues on the day or maybe a different setup or whatever, but he's actually in quite a lot of our clips. So you'll see him, I think he's in like 4 or 5 of our different clips. But there as well, you know, going too fast. The way he collected that, perfect drift. If anyone wants to learn how to drift, see what this guy did. The way he collected it through the corner was fantastic. Another one now, just a bit of a, oops, didn't know you were fully there. Come alongside, see if you can get through, didn't know you were there, went to the apex, so the GTP braking heavily again. And you can see that because of the multi-class, the GT3s are so much slower. You're almost like a rolling roadblock for the GTPs and the LMDHs, especially coming out of corners, because of their acceleration is so much quicker than those. This is a weird one. I think the orange guy wanted to push the green guy and keep him behind the Porsche, but what happened is the green guy then moved across, tapped the orange guy. We'll have another look at it. So he moves across, taps the orange guy, taps him again, and then I think the orange guy is like trying to stay online, and the Porker, not his fault at all, and lands up being involved in an incident he had nothing to do with. Another weird one, you know, and this one actually involved us. It involved our team. We were running P4 at the time and got taken out by somebody behind us. He was almost inside of our back tire, basically. That one, too brave on the brakes, and look, it's our friend in the yellow and blue-green car again. Next one, so involving more traffic once again, and no idea what he did. I think he got touched slightly and the back kicked out, and that just sent him shooting across the track straight to the wall, to the scene of the accident. And this is a similar one. I think the guy in the sort of rainbow car didn't think that somebody was at the apex, or maybe thought he had managed to give them enough space, but yeah, they touched each other. This one, so this BM is one of the ones that were right at the front. If you watch the very start in the replay, you can see them having a really good run on the LMP2 cars. So he's obviously thinking he's fighting for the win at the start, and now he's sitting in, I think that's P7 or P8, and a bit of an incident. I think, you know what, Sunset's one of those corners where if you're slightly off your line, the bumps can make you not brake properly, can make you slide a little bit and so on. That's just too aggressive on the power, got on the dirt and slid the car. Luckily saved it so it didn't hit a wall, which is fantastic. Whenever you can save a car from hitting the wall, that's a massive, massive win. So next incident, this one, from his point of view, so we're in the Porker there. From the Porker's point of view, he didn't even see this GTP next to him. Sorry, the LMP2 next to him. But the LMP2 looks like he is sort of given the Porker enough space, but it's a really weird one to call. Next one as well, more traffic. Just locked his brakes. Luckily, the two behind saw it happening and had the decency to stop and not sort of smash straight into him and what have you, because that could have completely ruined his race. Next one, oh, more traffic again, and I think maybe iRacing needs like a AI training school or something where you can learn how to drive in traffic, because some of these guys, you watch some of the GTPs and the LMP2s cutting in front of the GT3s, they cut across like they haven't even finished going right past yet, and their sort of back almost clips the front of the GT, which means you get upset with the aerodynamics, you don't have as much downforce and so on. But both of those went off together in sympathy with each other, just sort of saying, oh, you're going off, I'll join you and go off as well. Our guy who was running P3, still running P3, we're just behind him, trying to make it through. And then sadly, I mean, I think he's slightly in the wrong there because the Ferrari did have the inside line. This is another interesting one. He basically, the guy in the red car got into a spin, managed to collect it, thought he was doing okay, but then didn't realize there was a guy coming down. And it's our friend again, in the blue and yellow and sort of turquoise, whatever color it is. But he just, yeah, nowhere to go, gets it. I mean, that's proper Raptor's race. You can see tires broken, front gone, rear gone, just completely messed, and nothing he could do. He's going full throttle. Somebody, he looked like he had gone off to the other side. You can see him sort of looking like he's going off to the side, and then bang, he just, yeah, comes back across, takes him out, and that's it. Race is gone. Race is ruined at that point. So we have some more just bumping each other a little bit. Managed to keep it out the wall. That's always the key thing. He cuts in front of traffic coming back on track, which I don't overly like. But hey, look, it's our friend again. Turning into the apex, causing somebody else to catch a bit of a slide. I mean, I don't understand how he doesn't have enough damage to like pause a halt to his whole race. This one, two Ferraris going at it with each other. Boom, take some of that. And took our friend out. What happens there though, which I don't fully understand, one of the reasons I kept this clip is because his wing came off, but then his wing came back on, so not sure what happened there. Some more of our guys in the LMP2s, they started behind us. They're currently running further down the pack, and yeah, just get a bit of a slide, touch each other, and one gets away with it. The cause of the incident gets away with it, sadly. The guy, and the cause of the incident, by the way, you'll see he's in blue in the time tracker, so it means he's actually a lap or multiple laps down as well. This one's another weird one. I felt for this Ferrari. I think he, you know what, there's times when you just miss your breakpoint slightly. You've been in the car for an hour, and he's very lucky that he didn't get a proper slide on. I initially thought that we clipped him, but looking at the replay, because under the bridge there you can't really see it, I thought somebody had clipped him, and I thought it might have been our car, but actually nobody touches him at all. This is all his own doing. Got a bit of a slide on the bumps, tried to correct, and then bam. It takes its toll, you know, doing these endurance races. This Porsche, I felt sorry for them, messed up their car, no cause of their own. Mercedes taking the apex, the guy behind him in the rainbow car again. We've seen the rainbow car a couple of times now. They should have given the Mercedes some room. This guy, our favorite friend, is back in the yellow and turquoise or green. I don't know what color that is. Somebody in the comments, put a comment, tell me what color that is, please, so I can get it right next time. But yeah, coming down, the Ferrari probably didn't see him at all, so maybe not his fault on this one. The Ferrari had the Porsche right behind him. The Porsche started to back off, and this guy sent it. Possibly missed his brake point, and the Ferrari was in front of him, so he might not have had any downforce. And there we go. We go right through, going past, which is great. There we are. Coming in now. Back to GT3, so the Ferrari got a slide. I think the BM, you know what, you got your foot down. You know if you lift, you might also get a slide. It's a bit of a weird corner. The camber's a little weird. So the BM kept it in, hoping that he would be able to get past the Ferrari and bend it. And that's one of those things that happens. And yep, this is a weird one as well. He wrecks the Ferrari. I mean, yes, the Ferrari did have a bit of an issue, so maybe it was unseen. And back with us. So we got Rich again. He's running P1, coming to the end of the race. We got one last lap. So I thought what I'll do, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let you guys go through with him on our last lap. And that is a win. And this is the LMDH, or the GTP now. They've been reclassified. So this is the GTP coming across the line. Also for the win in the GTP class. So he's the overall winner as well, because they are the fastest car. So they did 9 more laps than we did. But yeah, they take the win. Fantastic. Well done to them. And then looking at the GT3s, that Ferrari, Loic Hofstadter, he's coming in. He's got a whole bunch of cars also trying to overtake him. They're still fighting for position behind him. So he's just going to bring it in. Well done for the GT3s as well. It's a long race. I mean, 6 hours is a long race. You can see all the marbles on the side of the track. And that's it. That's the race. Well done, guys. Thanks for everything. And come back next time. Spartan Racing it.